Overweight/obese Redditors, what are some common issues that you struggle with that the average person wouldn't expect? I'll post to this. I'm 400 pounds. All my life I was obese and I never let it stop me. Slowly as the weight climbed, I found myself doing less. It got so bad, I stopped leaving the house. I ordered out all the time, usually so much it made me sick. Worst it got was double trips to McDonald's for 6 McDoubles, 2 large fries, and a Coke with a Frosty, twice daily. I wanted to that was my goal, eat myself to I was so big I broke my car seat in half getting out one day. When you can register a car's struggle with the hill because of your weight. I smelled because I didn't shower. I remember over-tipping the delivery drivers because I was embarrassed, making up lies like we had a party or some bros are hanging out. Highest weight I hit was 550. My mom while I was doing this. I lived with her at the time. Knowing that my mother will never see her son happy and healthy kills me every day. Knowing that the last thing she saw was me struggling to open the bag of fast food I had bought. Please, keep trying to lose weight, even if it's coming off slowly. Don't let it consume you, and don't ever let the dirty glances make you feel less human. Frig those people. I have since lost 150 pounds, trying to get healthy for my mother, if not for myself. Instead of something that I struggle with, I'll focus on something that has helped me. December 2015, I weighed 315 pounds. I had 2 blown out knees from football and bad ankles and back. I was sick of the way I felt and looked, so I decided to try and start to change. I would have never been able to do it without my girlfriend. She would go to the gym every day already, so it started with a simple, "Hey, I'm going to the gym. Want to come?" Some days I wouldn't feel like it, but some days I would. I'd go a couple times a week and she would support me the whole time. "Great job on that lift. You're looking strong." Comments like that made the difference. When we would cook food or even go out to dinner, she would say stuff like, "Ooh, this grilled chicken wrap looks good," just to get my eyes off the unhealthy options on the menu. That led to me making my own food choices and ultimately stopped drinking soda and less beer. That was a huge step around month 4. A year later, after various health changes and support from her, I've lost 65 pounds and feel better than ever. I know it's not the, "oh, I've lost over 100 pounds in 7 months" story, but progress is progress. Anyone who fat shames now around me gets an earful. Support is what is needed and what helps the most. At my heaviest, I was 300 pounds at 17 years old. As a very social girl, it was all the little things I couldn't do as a teenage girl hanging with my friends. I couldn't just borrow a guy's hoodie or jacket because it most likely wouldn't fit. I couldn't just sit on a friend's lap for fun. I couldn't just run away from a guy holding a gross bug. I couldn't just sit on a folding chair at an outside picnic because it might bend or break. I couldn't just randomly skip. I couldn't get piggyback rides from guys, and I couldn't go to amusement parks without doing diligent research on weight limits beforehand. I couldn't even go clothes shopping with my friends. I would just stick to the shoes and accessories section when we went out. Now that I'm 23 and lost half my weight, I take advantage of all the things I missed out on as a teenager. I can now be spontaneous. Externally, seeing that immediate first impression of yuck flit across someone's face when they first see you. When I was obese, I hated going out because this would happen all the time, especially walking into a shop and the receptionist looking at you in disgust before they remembered to smile. Being talked about negatively behind your back, but close enough that you can hear. Being treated as disgusting by girls. If it was just not being interested in you sexually, it wouldn't be so bad. But some girlfriends of my friends hated even being around a fatty or being seen with one. Seems to have gone away after mid-20s, so may not be a problem with more mature people. Internally, thighs/ chafing when you walk. Worse when you run. I would sometimes walk for a couple of hours, and then the welts on my bum would be so bad I had to lie down for a day. The unbelievable sweating of doom. Sometimes I felt like I've been swimming in a deep fryer. Getting exhausted after what should be very little physical activity, and joint and ligament damage from too much pressure, impact, and weight. All of the above contributes to a vicious cycle that keeps you inside and immobile and makes it harder to lose weight. I used to be morbidly obese, i.e. BMI over 35, but got down to a healthy weight. When I was heavier, I was invisible to the opposite gender. Their eyes slid over me in public as if I wasn't even there. Fat people just don't register as human beings in the same way that healthy people do. Sharing this as someone who within the last few years put on an excessive amount of weight due to a variety of reasons, currently losing weight, getting back into shape, and basically getting back to life. The biggest things I noticed when I had added 100 pounds, it does actually get harder to wipe your own bum. Frig. You breathe heavier, even when sitting or lying in bed. At the fattest point, this really shook me. In bed, quiet room, almost labored breathing. Frig. Everything takes a lot more effort. Walking upstairs, getting out of the car or a low chair/sofa, doing household chores, walking the dog, etc. Frig. Fat hurts. Like if you get poked or you catch yourself on a sharp corner of furniture, for some reason, fatty parts of your body suddenly now hurt. Whereas when you were skinny, you didn't notice things so much. So yeah, getting fat frigging in a lot of ways. I'm close enough to my fit and healthy days to really notice it, and I've used that as motivation to make my way back to better times. Finding clothes that fit on all parts of the body. When I was obese, most of my fat went to my belly and butt. Buying pants was a nightmare. Anything that fit my waist and hips would look absolutely ridiculous on my legs. Shirts never ever looked right. People just don't treat you like a person. I always used to sort of disbelieve women who complained about constant negative attention from men because it just never happened to me. No one ever hit on me. No one really interacted with me at all. If I wanted to make friends or pursue a relationship, it was always me putting in all the initial effort. I hated the way I looked. I knew I was fat and I wanted to change. But when you try and change, eat healthier, eat less, and work out, and people give you crap for it, not encouraging. I left 2 different gyms because of skinny bees who thought it would be cool to make fun of the fatty. People would talk about me at work no matter what kind of food I brought in for lunch, so eventually I just stopped eating at work. I'm so glad I'm over all that. But now, if someone so much as looks at fat people wrong around me, they're out of my life. I have no tolerance for fat hate. I was on a medication that caused my weight to go from 130 pounds to 200 pounds in a few months. I'm a 5'8" woman. I stopped the medication, but it took me 1.5 years to lose the weight. Issues I had when I was overweight. 1. When you walk while wearing shorts, your thighs cause the fabric to bunch up and then ride up into your I tried to walk to lose weight, and it was take 4 steps, extract my shorts from my take 4 more steps, and repeat. It was so embarrassing, so I didn't want to walk outside when it was warm. Capris don't wet up in your so I ended up wearing them all the time. 2. The fabric bunching up from your thighs also wrinkled my pants minutes after I had started walking around. I felt like I looked like I had no pride in my appearance and fit the stereotype of fat slob. I hated leaving my house. 3. I couldn't breathe when I bent over to tie my shoes, and belts would dig into my stomach or get wedged between fat rolls when I was sitting down. 4. I became invisible after I gained weight. I used to think that the majority of people are kind and friendly, but it turns out that they only smile or hold doors open for skinny girls. It changed my whole outlook on humanity. 5. I was fortunate that no one used tough love to convince me to lose weight. My friends and family were all really supportive and encouraging. I think it would have taken me a lot longer to lose the weight if people intentionally made me feel worse than I already did. I don't know how anyone can think that overweight people have no idea that they are fat or that they are oblivious to the health risks. Losing a lot of weight is hard. You have to work at it every day, and you don't see immediate results for your efforts. It could take a month of hard work to lose 10 pounds, and I wouldn't look any less fat for all that effort. And then there are the plateaus that anyone losing a lot of weight will experience. I stayed at one plateau for 2 months, despite dieting and exercising every day. 6. I wish people understood that when you see an overweight person out in public, you are seeing a snapshot of one day of their life. A 300-pound person may have spent the last year losing 100 pounds. Maybe they just started a weight loss program. You don't know. So when you take it upon yourself to shame that person into losing weight, you can just as easily end up sending them the message that all the effort they've been making to lose weight has been pointless. 7. Not all people are overweight because they are lazy and just choose to stuff themselves with food. I was on Seroquel when I gained 70 pounds. Seroquel not only causes an appetite surge and cravings, it also changes the way your body processes food and stores fat. There are many other conditions, such as hypothyroidism and vitamin D deficiency, that also cause weight gain and difficulty losing weight.